This call is now being recorded.
Okay, today we are going to continue from the last session where we have ended. So, introduction to logistics and supply chain management. So, 7 rights of logistics management. What are the 7 rights of logistic management? Okay, what are the expectations from the customer? The customer expectations are number one, right service at the right place, of the right quantity, of the right quality, of the right price, at the right time, and build a right relationship. Means in logistics and supply chain management, not only you supply goods and services to the customer, but there are several other aspects which cover logistics management, and there are 7 rights of the customer. 7 rights, hak bante hai, rights of the customer. What are those? The rights of service, in time service. If there is any problem with the equipment which the manufacturer has supplied, then the customer should be satisfied by the right kind of service and in time service. For example, I will tell you that in case of electronic weighing industry, whenever the customer is facing a problem as far as the technicality of the machine is concerned, the service manager has to reach the place in time and rectify all the problems of the customer and the machine, so that the customer is satisfied and he is propagating your product. So the right kind of service should be there at the right place. So the engineer who is going to service should come in contact with the customer at the right time, at the right place, and he should have sufficient quantity of material that has to be delivered as per the requirements of the customer. And not only right quantity, the right quality of the goods have to be supplied to the end customer and the people who are in requirement of those goods and services. And even they are anticipating that you will supply the right quality of the goods, the right quantity of the goods at the right place, and you will also provide the right service at the right price at the right time. And thereby, because of these reasons, you are going to have a long-term relationship with the customer. So the some of the rights of the logistics management are right service, right place, right quantity, right quality, right price, right time, and right relationship. Hope you have understood this particular point is concerned. Next one. Next one is, what are the objectives of logistics management? So uh, what is the uh, what is the objectives of the logistics management? The logistics management, the objectives are they are threefold, manyfold, but now what I am doing is we are uh, basically uh, they are covered in 3 particular categories. There are 3 particular categories in which all the objectives can be combined together. One is rapid response. One is rapid response. Rapid response, number one. Number two is minimum variance and the right quality. Okay, let's understand one by one, and we will discuss on this particular aspect in detail. Let's discuss this in particular detail. Okay, here when I am talking about rapid response, sorry, rapid response is nothing but acting in time, acting in time, acting in time, or acting shiftly, or responding shiftly, acting quickly, acting quickly. For example, so as the customer, now Diwali season is there. Now Diwali season is there. Diwali season is there. There is a huge requirement. There is a huge demand for all the products. So there should be enough uh, production, so that this production is supplied to the customer, to the market, and the market is full of the quantity demanded by the customers. This is number one. Number two, rapid response. If there is any problem with the goods which you have supplied. There should be engineers who should visit the place of the customer, rectify the problem in time. Number three is logistics. Logistics is another aspect, which is transportation. Transportation means, so the transportation should be able to carry the goods and services and manpower, labor, and reach the customer in time. And it helps in production of the finished goods in time. Minimum variance. This is another aspect of objectives of logistics management as far as operating objective is concerned. So minimum variance is nothing but, for example, minimum variance is lead time. Lead time. I will give you today. We are going to even talk about inventory management. So I am here with the when I am explaining minimum variance, I am just giving an example of lead time. Now, this is a very important concept as far as inventory management is concerned. So please pay attention. This is very important concept. Lead time. Lead time. Now, lead time is nothing but the time taken. The time taken to get the get the goods at the manufacturing place. At the manufacturing place, once it is ordered, once it is once it is ordered. Very, very important word is there. This is a very important definition, very important concept called as lead time. Lead time is nothing but time taken to get the goods at manufacturing place once it has been ordered. For example, I will give the example of Tata Motors and MRF. Tata Motors has ordered MRF to supply 1 lakh tires. 1 lakh tires today. That is on 1/10/2020. So how much time it will take MRF to supply these goods to Tata Motors? For example, 45 days. So it took Tata Motors to get what it wanted after the completion of the 44th day. That is on the 45th day, whatever they have ordered to MRF, they have received it. So until such time they have to manage the production. Tata Motors has to manage the production. Means what? They should have 45 days of raw material in their stock room or storeroom. If they fall short at any point of time, then the production is going to be hampered. The production will come to a standstill, and it is going to affect the overall production and the production cost. So lead time is very important. You have to calculate the lead time for each and every raw material or component which goes into the production of the finished goods. Okay, so this is lead time. So here just now I have calculated that the lead time is 45 days. So here when I'm talking about minimum variance, the variance is, see, it can't be exactly 45 days. It can be sometimes it can be 44 days, or sometimes it can be 47 days. So the variance can be plus or minus 1% or 2%. It can't be more than that. So variance should be there. So when I'm talking about variance, it is variance of various aspects. Now, what do you mean by various aspects? Variance in the sense that the raw material, the finished goods quality, the quality of the finished goods, can vary to only a negligible extent. It can't be, there can't be a wider variance in the quality of the product. Okay, what the customer has expected and what he is getting, it should be minimal. The quality should be maintained. So variance should be low. As far as price is concerned, the price should be, for example, 10 rupees. So it can be plus or minus 1%. Like, for example, it can be 10 rupees 25 paisa or 9 rupees 95 paisa. So it can't be more than that. So that is the variance when I'm talking about objectives of the logistics management. Okay, hope you have understood it. Today we are going to talk about a very important concept where we are going to talk about this variance in depth. Next one is quality. So one aspect of the logistics management objective is the quality of the service, as well as the quality of the product has to be maintained. That is, and because of logistics management, probably it can be fulfilled but you have to see that every aspect of logistics and supply chain management should be linked properly. There should be coordination, communication, and database management. So this is about the operating objectives of logistics management. Now the second one is chain, the objectives of supply chain and logistics. Now one is sourcing, one is procurement, one is storage of raw material, one is production planning and scheming, and then forward and reverse logistics. Forward and reverse logistics. What do you mean by this? So sourcing is nothing but from where you are going to procure your source your raw material, source your raw material or your raw material or your finished goods, your finished goods. For example, in case of a big bazaar, from where you are going to procure your goods which you want to trade with, you are trading into. So that aspect has to be taken care. Next one is procurement of raw material, procurement of labor, procurement of capital goods, that is machines, at, at a minimal cost in a minimum time, and thereby involve a minimum cost, and the overall cost of capital should be very low. After you procure or source the raw material, then where are you going to store it, how are you going to store it, how much you are going to store it, and how do you find out the economic order quantity. Next one is production planning and control. So this will be talking in detail. Forward and reverse logistics. Now this is very important. Forward and reverse logistics. Reverse. See, this is the production center. This is a factory. Now, when I am talking about forward and reverse logistics, forward means once you have manufactured, it has to reach the wholesaler, the dealer, the warehouse, and the end customer. Warehouse and the end customer. So logistics are used, or transportation is used. So many logistics like warehouse and so on and so forth. When I'm talking about reverse logistics, it can be raw material, from where you are going to get the raw material to the place where you are going to store, and then going into the factory. So this is about forward and reverse logistics. Now, during this couple of decades or years, the logistics management has gained a lot of momentum. Has got a gained a lot of momentum. And let's look at the reasons, or some of the reasons how this logistics has come into play, and they are playing a paramount importance in supply chain management. So rise in transportation cost. So what has happened over a period of time because of fuel cost, and cost of capital in transportation, it has become imperative on the part of the companies to take a decisive role, a decisive step in thinking about the transportation. For example, I will tell you, I gave you this example a couple of weeks back, that we were working in mining industry. I was working in mining industry, and we used to export iron ore to China. Export iron ore to China. Now, from India, iron ore is transported to China. Now, you have to find out the transportation cost, and the transportation cost is almost 70% of the total cost of the total cost of the goods. So at this juncture, at this point, it becomes very, very important that the management should focus on the transportation cost and find out any possibility is there that it can reduce the transportation cost to 5 to 10 percentage. Another example I will give you. The example is manufacturing of cars and allied automobiles, and they are supplied to the end customer. When they are manufactured and supplied to the end customer, please remember the transportation cost as a total cost can be around 20 to 25 percentage. 20 to 25 percentage. So How do we control it? How do you try to eliminate it? How do you try to reduce it? How do you control the cost as far as transportation is concerned? And that's the reason why we talk about today logistics management playing a vital role in getting the answer to controlling of the transportation cost. There are ways and means of addressing this problem. So we are going to see ahead how transportation cost and as because of logistics and supply management can be reduced dramatically. Production efficiency is reaching a peak. Another reason why uh, logistics management has gained a momentum in the last couple of years or decade is production efficiency is reaching a peak, and fundamental change in inventory policy philosophy. For example, today also we are going to talk about inventory management. We have seen a technique called as ABC analysis. We have seen a technique called as economic order quantity. We are going to talk about just in time, and these are all a part of logistics and supply chain management. So over a period of time, it is found that inventory plays a vital role in controlling the cost and maximizing or enhancing the profitability levels of the organization of the and cost of capital can be reduced. As I was already told some time back, there are so many costs which are involved with inventory. One is the inventory carrying cost, one is inventory ordering cost, and one is total cost. So inventory carrying cost is the major part of the inventory. So if you can control it, it is going to reduce the overall cost of the end product. So that's the reason why inventory is becoming a part of logistics management. Next one is product line proliferated. Product line is proliferated. We will not go into these details. Next one is computer technology. Now, because see, we have something called as SAP. There is something called as SAP. I will give a small example of the importance of SAP over this place. Uh, this is a software that are used by big companies. For example, I will give you a small example of HPCL. Okay, HPCL is there. They have crude oil as a raw material. They have crude oil as a raw material, which is imported from the Western world. Imported raw material, which is imported from. Now we have here refineries where the crude oil is supplied, which becomes this is the raw material. The crude oil is the raw material for these refineries. They refine this crude oil and convert it into petrol, diesel, naphtha, and so on and so forth. And even some petrochemical products are manufactured. Okay, and here after they manufacture the petrol, diesel, they have to store in different places within India. So they have to find out where the location is, and at what location how much quantity of can be stored, how much is there. So this information can be we can get the information based upon our technology using internet and other allied technologies. So connecting these dots is very important. So this is the manufacturing. This is the place where the manufacturing is taking place. This is the place where the manufacturing of petrol, diesel, and crude oil, other allied products are manufactured, and they are supplied here. And you have to find out even the marketing conditions. What is the market demand of the product? How much is the supply? How much is the demand? How much is the capacity of storage as far as this particular point is concerned? So technology plays a vital role, and one among them is installation of software called as SAP. Next one is reduction in economic regulations. We will ignore this point also. Next one, what are the challenges which are faced by logistics industry? So some of the hurdles or difficulties, the difficulties which are faced by logistics industry. Okay, so here, if you look at the diagram, it's a not a passenger train. I will call it. It's a goods train. Goods train. Okay, you might have seen goods train carrying goods like cement. You might have seen. If I were to believe you, you might have seen this particular trains. The goods trains are carrying cement bags, food items, or two-wheelers or cars or iron ore, as I already told some time back. So there are almost 56 wagons in a goods train. 56 wagons in a this जो डब्बा रहते हैं ना 56 wagons are there. So in these 56 wagons, you can accommodate good quantity of the finished goods which you are willing to supply to the end customer or to the end market. So, but there are so many challenges which are faced in the logistics industry. For example, so this is one particular mode of transportation of the finished goods or the raw material, which is the railways. So, let's see some of the other ways of other ways of transportation of raw material and finished goods. And some among them are the roadways, the railways, the waterways, the airways, and even we talk about warehouses. So you have to store the goods before they are transported to the end customer in warehouse. For example, even cold storage for agriculture products. So there should be a lot of investment that have to be made. For example, we have to do a lot of investment. The government of India has to consider a lot of investment in roadways, modernize the roadways. They are they have to pledge themselves that the roads are intact. The roads are very safe to carry the finished goods and the raw material. The railways, proper connectivity is there. For example, there is something called as the location of the industry. The location of the industry. So when I'm talking about the location of the industry, for example, location of the industry, if the factory is there, before you set up the factory, you have to consider so many factors, and one among them is nearness to the raw material, nearness to the raw material, and nearness to the customer or market. And apart from these two, there should be something which you have to consider for the location of the factory, something called as nearness to the transportation. For example, if your factory is somewhere very remote from the transportation, then it becomes very difficult to transport the raw material as well as the finished product. So there are so many bottlenecks in investing in infrastructure for in the logistics industry. So logistics industry may be facing a lot of difficulties because of these intrinsic problems. So let's understand one by one what are those problems. For example, uh, another example is your port. There are so many port. For example, in Bombay we have JNPT, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. In Gujarat there is Kandla Port. In Andhra Pradesh there is Kakinada Port. So, for example, India is like this. The map goes like this. Okay, so it's not ice cream. It's a India map, and this is the shore. We are near to the water or the ocean. Here we have Arabian Sea, Arabian Sea. Here we have Indian. If I am correct, it's Bay of Bengal on the right, Bay of Bengal, and we have here Indian Ocean. If I am correct, okay. Now this is Bombay. This is I assume this is Bombay. Sorry, this is Bombay. This is Chennai. This is the border of Andhra Pradesh and Orissa, and this is somewhere Kerala. Okay, and this is Gujarat. Okay, so these are border areas. Now, if somebody wants to transport from here to China, somewhere here, okay, they have to carry this material from this place to here and then from here to here if it is to be transported by waterways. So the infrastructure over this place should be very good, or the roadways, the railways should be the infrastructure should be handsome. Then only they will be able to transport the goods. Otherwise, there will be difficulties in transporting the end product to the customer, and probably the end customer will be receiving the goods at a very high rate because of increased transportation cost. So another example I will give you. Please remember, for example, our India's south part and the west part is like this. Okay, Here, here it is it's Pune factory is there. From Pune factory, you have to transport the goods to the rest of the world, and for example, countries which are there here. So from here, after you manufacture goods in Pune, they have to carry to Bombay by railways or by roadways, and then after it reaches JNPT, they are stored in the vessel. This all the vehicles are stored in the vessel, or they are placed in the in the vessel. Vessel means ship. The vessel means ship. Ship is of 70 to the 1 tons capacity, or 1 lakh tons capacity. 1 lakh tons. 1 ton is almost 1,000 kilos. So you can assume the weight of the weight it can sustain. This particular ship can sustain 70 to the 1 tons or 1 lakh tons. So here there should be enough infrastructure to keep this goods before this two-wheeler or three-wheeler. There should be enough place, there should be enough what do you call storage capacity. Not only there is only Tata Motors in India, there can be so many companies which want to transport. So there should be enough storage capacity over this place from where they want to carry this particular goods to the export market, maybe China, maybe Russia, or UK or USA. So what I mean to say is the infrastructure, whether it is roadways, railways, or waterways, or any mode of transportation, there should be modern, there should be capacity, there should be enough investments that have to be done in the logistics. Whether it's a small product or a service, logistics plays a very important. For example, courier industry or VRL. You might have heard about a company called as VRL. Okay, these are all listed companies. Courier is a company which is into logistics. So it is possible only when they have any adequate fleet of trucks, and the roads are very good. We understood up to this stage. So some of the challenges which are faced by the logistics industry are as follows: lack of quality infrastructure. So our endeavors, the government of India is striving hard to improve the quality of infrastructure, whether it is power or water connectivity, as I've already connectivity through water transportation, railway connectivity, or transportation or road connectivity, or mobiles. Mobiles also is a part of infrastructure, because see, if you don't have power at various stages, like on the roads, on the railways, it's very difficult to navigate. That's the reason we should have a lot of investment that has to be done in quality infrastructure, in improvising the infrastructure to a quality of desired level. Road transportation, already I told, we have to invest huge amount of money in improving the uh, overall quality of the roads, because the roads play a vital role in carrying agriculture products, manufactured goods, and other areas. Lack of border crossing, too many regulations, in the sense that if you want to carry goods, for example, I remember when I'm talking about I remember the days when we were transporting iron ore to China. So there were so many regulations. For example, I will give you three regulations. Regulation means control, government control. One is, if you want to export if you want to export this iron ore, you have to book a vessel. Now you remember, just now I told you, vessel is nothing but a ship. You have to book a ship. To book a ship, it will take 45 days. And all these 45 days, you have to store the goods at the port. And storing the goods at the port is a costly affair, because they will charge something called as Jumerage, okay, or the whatever is the cost involved for storing the goods. Number one. Number two, so vessel, to get a vessel itself is a big task. Now let's talk about this one, railways. So you want to carry this raw material, that is iron ore, from Karnataka to Bombay shore. And how is it possible? Only through railways. And railways, the infrastructure is very I will tell it's very poor. And to get a wagon of a rail of 56 wagons, rail is consisting of 56 wagons, you have to wait for almost 1 to 1.5 months, and you have to pay a lot of charges. So So many problems because of regulations, lack of trained staff. As you know very well, today we are in a period of epidemic, and labor is shortage. We are running short of labor, skilled labor, and semi-skilled labor. So people who are there in the logistics industry, I feel personally that lack of trained staff is hampering the activity of logistics management. Limited use of information technology. So the usage of information technology should be enhanced so as to improvise the logistics industry. Lack of certainty in the business. Lack of certainty in the business. For example, I will tell you one thing, that if there is a huge demand, the capacity has to be increased, and then there is a lot of investment that has to be done in we have to do in enhancing the capacity. But if there is a sudden sluggishness or bearishness in the market, or there is a recession, the capacity is utilized only to extent of 40 to 50%. So it is going to damage or spoil the overall productivity of the organization and the manufacturing facility. So lack of certainty in the business. So today we have witnessed, because of this coronavirus, the the industry is not sure whether the how the corona is going to affect, how much it is going to affect, how many days it will affect. And there is a huge amount of uncertainty which is looming large on the industry. And this has a very detrimental effect on the sales, on the revenue, as well as the cost, as well as the profitability of the company. And it is going to even impact the overall structure of the economy as a whole. Next one is importance of logistics. Importance of logistics. So already we spoke a lot about this, but I will give you just an overview. Maintaining competitive advantage. So, uh, for example, you have to follow right kind of scientific purchase of raw material. Scientific purchase of raw material means purchase of raw material means you are buying the right raw material from the right person at the right place, of right quality, at right quantity, of right price, at right discount, and supplying to the customer or the person who is in need, that is the production manager, in time. Good consumer relationship is one of the uh, primary requirements of management, that we want to improvise our relationship with the customer. The customer is serviced in time. He's been provided with a quality product with a optimal quantity of right price. Creating finished goods, creating or manufacturing finished goods, and providing organization. Now, so these are some of the components of logistics management. So here, when I'm talking about logistics management, first is procurement of raw material, procurement of labor, procurement of raw material, procurement of labor, procurement of capital goods, procurement of all things comes into picture. So it's a very big task, and it is a value chain. Value chain one, I will consider it. Value chain one. Then after you procure, then you distribute to the wholesaler, to the retailer, to the end customer, so on and so forth. And you have to plan if you want to produce. You have to time the market. You have to time the market in the sense that you can't supply the material according to your own whims and fancies, but rather you have to look at the trends. Like for example, in Diwali, the quantity demanded is 100 tons. You have to supply at least 110 tons. So you have to time the market. So all this and supply chain management analysis has to be done as far as demand is concerned, as far as cost is concerned, as far as transportation is concerned, and many other aspects. Okay. Now, the three types of flows in supply chain management. What are the different flows of supply chain management? What are the different flows of supply chain management? The different types of flows of supply chain management are material flow, information flow, and financial flow. So when I'm talking about material flow, it is raw material, it can be finished goods, It can be after sale service, the parts or the equipment or the material which are required for after sale service, and many other aspects. Okay, this is a physical flow which represents the movement of product from supplier to the customer, as well as the movement of product from customer to suppliers in case of servicing. Okay, customer to suppliers in case of servicing and repairing. Information flow means what is the total capacity of the factory, how much it is utilized, how much it is unutilized. If I want to utilize full, how much should be the market demand, how much is the raw material, how much is to be replenished, what is the lead time. Order tracking means whether once you got an order from the customer to manufacture certain n quantity of goods, now in how many days you are going to supply it once you are manufacturing it, and how, at what stage it is, delivery schedule of the raw material of the finished good to the customer. So supply chain carries a lot of information at various stages, and all the information should be taken into account to uh, get a overall understanding about what's happening at the ground level. Financial flows, for example, raw material has to be purchased, so finance is going. Finished goods have to be manufactured, so finance is going. Capital goods have to be procured, that is machines have to be procured, so finance is going. We have to pay salaries, we have to pay money to the transporter, we have to pay money to the warehouse people, and many other aspects. So huge amount of money is invested in logistics management and supply chain management. So this represents trade terms, invoices, and other ownership arrangements. This flow requires highest level of cooperation between the members of the supply chain. So what do you mean by credit terms? So once you have, for example, you have sold goods to the customer, sold goods to the customer, to the customer means now the customer will tell that I am going to give the payment towards what you have supplied after 2.5 months. So this is called as credit terms. Okay, hope you understood it. So there are three flows of flows in the supply chain management. One is the material flow, that is the goods flow, information flow, and financial flow. So now we are talking about the next concept, which is called as supply chain upstream and supply chain downstream. Supply chain upstream and supply chain downstream, and work in progress. Now, what do you mean by upstream? And what do you mean by downstream? And what do you mean by work in progress? Okay, in case of supply chain management, the whole supply chain management can be divided into three particular departments, or navigating or movement taking place. One is upstream supply chain connection, work in progress, and downstream supply chain movement. Now, what do you mean by upstream supply chain? Means the suppliers. The suppliers are nothing but the people who are supplying the raw material to you. The people who are going to supply the raw material, the components. For example, in case of Tata Motors, who are the suppliers? People who are supplying engines, tires, clutch, so on and so forth, steering wheel, and many other aspects. Hope you have understood this. So people who are supplying the raw material components are your upstream supply chain component entities, I will call it. And upstream logistics. Upstream logistics means from where you are going to get the raw material and how they are going to be transported to the how you are going to transport, how you are going to transport to the how you are going to get the transportation to the manufacturing point. So this is one part. So hope you have understood this. Next one is work in progress. Now, after you get the raw material to your factory, and by using the machinery, the capital goods, the labor, the production process, and other aspects, you are going to convert them into finished goods. So raw material with the help of production is converted into finished goods. This is the work in progress. So here you are manufacturing the goods. Here it is a raw material stage. Raw material is procured, is converted into finished goods, and then now you are talking about the market, to whom you have to cater the needs, for whom you have manufactured. These are the stakeholders who are going to take your product, who are going to relish your product, who are going to adopt your product. So who are these? The wholesaler, the retailer, the consumer, and the flow is back also. So the consumer will give a feedback how is your product, and based upon the feedback what you have received, you will order to the supplier what kind of raw material you are looking for to cater the needs of the end customer. So upstream and downstream is upstream is raw material suppliers. This is the working stage, work in progress, and this is the downstream, the end customers. The end customers are the retailers, the wholesalers, the dealers, the carry forward agents. Now, who are the participants? Who are the participants in supply chain management? Who are the participants in the supply chain management? The participants in the supply chain management are the suppliers, already I told, the manufacturers, the distributors, the customers. So this is very important. The participants in the supply chain management are the suppliers who are supplying the raw material, the components, the manufacturers who are manufacturing the finished product, the distributor who is distributing, who is getting the product from the manufacturer and then is supplying to the end customer. For example, in case of I am taking the example of, for example, Asian Paints. So Asian Paints is the manufacturer of paints. So so you are the manufacturer. Asian Paints is the manufacturer. Who is the distributor? People who are distributing the end product to the customer, who are called as franchises in some terminology, or dealers we call it, or people who are dealing in the product, or franchises, something like that. Okay, so this particular product is supplied to them, and the raw material required for this particular industry, which is paint industry, will be received from the people who are manufacturing the raw material, maybe pigments manufacturing or chemical manufacturing companies. Okay, so you have to divide your participants in supply chain management into four categories, like suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and customers. Now, what are the different objectives of the supply chain management? What are the different objectives of supply chain management? The different objectives of supply chain management is clear. I want to reduce the cost at every stage. I want to reduce the cost of at every stage, whether it is a raw material stage, or raw material negotiation stage, or raw material procurement stage, or vendor location stage, vendor rating stage, or capital goods procurement stage. At every stage, whether it is production process or warehousing or logistics, I want to cost control the cost, and wherever possible, whatever extent it is possible, I want to reduce cost, whether it is labor management, or labor compensation, or waste management, or improving the productivity. So all these are meant to reduce the cost of manufacturing, and then improvise the product quality, and thereby we can ensure that the overall profitability of the organization is maintained, and the supply chain management is effective in place. Next one is enhance customer service. Enhance customer service. I will give you a small example of enhancing the customer service with the help of proper planning. Proper planning. I remember. I will give a small example of Maruti Suzuki. Maruti Suzuki. It is into manufacturing of cars, and it has got almost. It's a market leader. Market leader in car manufacturing. Market leader in car segment. Now, one of the USPs, unique selling proposition, or what you call speciality of this particular company, is that they got on-road service, on-road service, on-road service. For example, I was moving with my colleague from Pune to Bombay, from Bombay and then I was coming back from Bombay to Pune in the evening in the car, and the car was of a Maruti Suzuki brand. And in between, when we reached Lonavala, which is a hilly area, and the weather was not good, there was some problem in the car, and we did not know how to settle down, how to solve the problem. So we heard that Maruti Suzuki service centers are there very near to wherever you are. So we called on a specific free toll number, and within half an hour, the service engineer came and serviced the car. And because of this, we were very happy, because in time service was required more than the cost of the service. So enhancing customer service is one of the main objectives of supply chain management. Reduce inventory cost. So we are going to talk about inventory cost a lot today in the second part of our discussion in inventory management. Next one is reducing warehousing cost. Now, I will tell you some important aspects of warehousing. So, let's understand warehousing because this is also an integrated component of supply chain management. Integrated part of supply chain management. I will give a small example. Now, warehouse is the place where the goods are stored, the finished goods are stored before they are served to the end customer, maybe through retailer or wholesale dealer or a dealer. So you have to store the goods in the warehouse. So you have to either pay monthly rent, or you can have your own warehouse where you invest a lot of money into it. So you have to trade the balance whether you should rent, go on rent as far as warehouse facility concerned, or you should have your own warehouse facility. So, and you have to work out which is going to reduce the cost as far as warehousing is concerned, because the warehousing also is a part of your cost of the finished product. This is about warehousing. Next is reducing transportation cost. So you have discussed a lot about it. Next one is reduce the lead time. Already I told about the lead time as far as the company in concern in our example were Tata Motors and MRF. So the lead time in that case was 45 days. So how can I reduce to 40 days? How can I reduce to 45, 41 days or 40 days? Why? Because lead time, lead time tells you, lead time will define how much raw material or inventory we have to be maintained, inventory to be maintained as a safety stock, if as far as safety stock is concerned. Now what do you mean by safety stock? For example, I told you in the case of MRF and Tata Motors, the lead time was 45 days. Means आज अगर ऑर्डर रखोगे, MRF आज अगर टाटा मोटर्स आज अगर MRF को ऑर्डर रखेगा, भैया आई रिक्वायर 1 lakh units of tires. MRF will not complete the order within 1 day or 2 days. They are also having so many stages to pass on to complete before they transport the finished goods to the customer. So in this case, I gave as example that the lead time is 45 days. So 45 days they are not going to have inventory. So 45 days into average daily requirement of tires by Tata Motors is called as safety stock. So, for example, every day they are going to use, for example, 10,000 tires. So, 45 into 10,000 is equal to 4,50,000 tires. They have to keep as a safety stock. मतलब इतना रखना ही रखना है. इसके नीचे आ गया तो आपका प्रोडक्शन बंद हो जाएगा. So, at any stage in your factory, you should have at least 4.5 lakh tires. Now, one tire costs, for example, 1,000 rupees. Sorry, 2,000 2,000 rupees. So sorry, 20,000 rupees. So 4.5 lakhs into 20,000 rupees, it runs into some crores of rupees. So for example, 900 crores. So you are investing your money because of this lead time into inventory. Rupees 900 crores is your working capital. So 900 crores you have to separately and uniquely dedicate and you in principle keep as a working capital of 900 crores. 900 crores into 12% is roughly around 108 crores. So you're losing a cost or interest to the extent of 100 crores. So this is going to affect your cost of production. So what you have to do, you have to look at alternate ways of reducing explore the ways and means of reducing the lead time, because of the lead time, the safety stock investment is very high, and because of this, your opportunity cost is lost and your cost of capital in inventory is increasing. So that is what I mean when I am talking about lead time. Now, working capital, again, working capital is very important, and I'm showing you a diagram. Please look at this carefully. This diagram refers to this diagram refers to operating cycle. Operating cycle. Now, what do you mean by operating cycle? Operating cycle is nothing but, for example, if you want to complete your MBA, you have to first complete first semester, then second semester, then third semester, and then fourth semester, and there the story ends, and then you go into the job, and then the rest is a history. In the same way, when I'm talking about operating cycle, the cycle is not ending at any stage. There is no end to it. It's a dynamic, continuous process. It's a dynamic and continuous process. Now, what do you mean by operating cycle? Operating cycle is nothing but, first you have cash or finance with the company. For example, Bajaj Auto, it has cash of some 100 crores. Then it is going to purchase raw material with this 80 crores, and then it is converting into work in progress by adding another 10 crores in the factory, that is oil, grease, labor, etc., etc. And then they are going to add another 10 crores to manufacture the finished goods, and they are going to sell this finished goods to the customer at 120 crores. And then it is going to give some 2 months time to the customer to pay the amount of 120 crores. So your money is getting blocked. So you have to invest. You're investing money in raw material. You're investing money in work in progress. You're investing money in finished goods. You're investing money in debtors. That is called as working capital. So your money in working capital should be very, 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 very minimal. Now, how is it possible? By adopting something called as just in time. Number one. Next is advance advance collection from the customers, advance collection from customers, etc. So these are the concepts which are possible in supply chain management. Next one is minimum variance. I told you the variance already. I told you, ensuring online on-time delivery to the customers to satisfy their needs. Next one is importance of supply chain management. What is the importance of supply chain management? The importance of supply chain management, already I told, reduce inventory along the chain. Already just now I told you have to reduce your inventory, whether it is raw material or work in progress or finished goods. See, raw material should be converted into finished goods immediately. And you have to invest minimum amount of money in raw material. And you have to first just follow concept called as just in time. Just in time, I will be discussing about all those aspects. Better flow of information. Already I told, customer satisfaction is the competitive edge, building trust, avoiding wastage. So you have to avoid wastages because you have invested a lot of money in this particular product. So avoid wages and quick response to the customer needs and services. Now next topic is very important topic, blue whip effect. Blue whip effect. Blue whip effect. So please pay attention. This is very, very important. We are going to spend some time, at least 20 minutes, on understanding blue whip effect. This is a very modern but very important uh, part of a discussion of a strategic supply chain management. The whip effect is a distribution channel phenomenon. It's a distribution channel phenomenon in which forecasts, we have to forecast. Now, what do you want to forecast? We want to forecast what are the demands of the retailer, the distributor, the end customer. Okay. So, for example, here we have a dealer, here we have a retailer, and here we have a customer tells that I want 10 particular items. He is demanding 10 lakh units of a particular product. Now the retailer will take all this data from the customer and tell that, okay, I require 12 lakhs to cater to the needs of the customer, because he will keep plus or minus 10%. Then this will pass on to dealer, and dealer will get an information from the retailer that he requires 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Now dealer will tell that to the manufacturer that he requires 20 lakhs. Now based upon this, the manufacturer will manufacture 25 lakhs. So please remember, here what is happening, he is manufacturing 25 lakh units, but the end customer is demanding only 10 lakhs. So there is a huge variance at various stages of distribution channels. Okay, so it means that it refers to increasing swings in inventory in response to shifts in the customer demand. So there is a huge swing, 10, 12, 15, and 20. So because of this, what is happening? At every this guy is getting into trouble. Now he has to anticipate, he has to find out a ways and means of addressing this problem, because he's going to manufacture this many number of units, and he is going to invest a lot of money in manufacturing it, whether it is in the form of capital goods or procurement of raw material, procurement of components, or other aspects are concerned. Okay, so that is what I have put here. So here we have customer, we have retailer, we have distributor, and we have manufacturer. So customer requires this much only, but the retailer will tell I want this much, and the distributor will tell that I want this much, and he will pass on the message that the manufacturer should produce this much. So the manufacturer is producing this much, but this guy requires this much, but this guy requires this much, and the customer requires this much. So let's look at this particular example. Actual demand of the customer is only 9 units. So the customer has told that he requires only, it's forecasted that he requires only 10 units. But according to the retailer orders including safety stock. I told you safety stock, because of safety stock, he orders plus 5 units, and he tells that I require 15 units. To whom? To the distributor. The distributor tells that okay, this guy wants 15 units. Let me keep 5 safety stock. So he will give an order 20. So this guy will keep another 20 safety stock, so he's manufacturing 50 units. So there is a wild swing between what the customers requiring and what he's manufacturing. So this is called as blue whip effect. Blue whip effect. Okay, this is very. It has to be anticipated. It has to be overcome. Otherwise, it will be a disaster to the company, because he's manufacturing 40, but the end customer demanding is only 9. Because every stage there is a safety stock. Now let's understand. Let's understand what are the effects, main causes, main reasons of blue whip effect. What are the effects? Why it is causing? What is the reason why blue whip effect is causing? Is what are the causes of blue cause and effect? Cause and effect. Okay. So these are some of the causes of effect and causes of blue whip. The first one is uh, this one, updating demand forecast. So we have updated that we have updated that the demand of the customer is 10, but there can be a wild swing in it. So probably we are not able to generously or accurately or judiciously or intelligently able to unable to forecast the trends and the demand of the customer. So that's the reason it is this is cost, number one. Number two, inflated orders due to lack of information. So as I already told, inflated information, this is he requires only 10, but he is giving an inflated figure that he requires 15. He requires 15. So this is inflated orders from every stage of distribution channel, leading to an exaggerated demand forecast by the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is manufacturing 40 units. So this is the reason. Another one is long lead time. If you look very carefully here, every stage, if they want to keep a safety stock of a lead time, because from here it will take 15 days, from here to here 15 days, from here to here 15 days, from the manufacturer to the distributor it will take 15 days, from distributor to the retailer it will take 10 days, from retailer to the consumer it may take 5 days. So everybody wants to keep a safety stock. For example, if I come to know that there is a shortage of petrol in the market, what I will do, I will store some 20 liters as a safety stock. So 20 plus another 20, I am demanding 40 liters I am storing. So this is what is happening. So this is because of long lead time by many intermediaries. Who are these intermediaries? The distributor is one intermediate between the customer and the company. The dealer is the intermediary between the customer and the company. So these are the intermediaries. Intermediary means who are the people in between the who are there in the supply chain. Next one is price fluctuation, and last one is order batch or ordering a lot of big lot size I'm ordering. Okay, so order size is very big. Okay, that's the reason why. For example, if I order, this guy is ordering 20 units because he is anticipating that he will get a quantity discount. So he's ordering and then he's storing. So what is the impact now because of this wild swings in the figures of demand forecasted by various people? What is going to be impacted badly? Who is going to be impacted, and what is the overall impact on various elements of cost and other aspects? So the manufacturing cost will increase. The manufacturing cost will increase. The inventory cost will increase. For example, here here he is going to produce 40 units, but he is going to supply only 35 units because the or 25 units. So 15 units he will store. 15 units he store means he is going to keep extra 15 units in inventory. So the inventory carrying cost will increase. So the inventory cost will increase. He is manufacturing more, and because of this, what is happening? Probably he is procuring a lot of raw material. So the raw material cost is increasing. The labor cost also is increasing. Transportation cost is increasing. The labor cost is increasing. These are some of the effects of a blue whip phenomenon. More stock out, loss of customer service, loss of sales are some of the effects of blue whip effect. Solution. Now, what is the solution to address this particular effect or this particular menace or this particular damage or danger? How to overcome this danger or precarious situation? Is know your customer. Directly call the customer. The manufacturer will call the customer and tell how many units he require. So this guy will give an precise, accurate need of his quantity and the quality. So know your proper forecasting. This guy who is the manufacturer should be able to anticipate, forecast, do a prognosis based upon the previous data that how much material is required. This is about the second part. Next one is better information. There should be better information flowing from the various stages of distribution channel, whether it is a dealer or a retailer or a wholesaler or so on and so forth. Next one is inventory flow. There should be a proper inventory flow. So these are some of the solutions. Modern techniques should be adopted. Implement vendor management in inventory strategy. Reduce the leading time. Already I told about this. Invest in the best talent and analyze the key data. So last topic, extended enterprise. Next one is extended enterprise. Hope you have understood the blue whip strategy or blue whip phenomenon and effect. Now let's understand extended enterprise. Extended enterprise. Extended enterprise. Now, what do you mean by extended enterprise? Extended enterprise is nothing but it is a concept that a company does not operate in isolation because its success is dependent on network of various partners who are involved. For example, see, please remember, uh, uh, everybody on this earth is dependent on each other. It's not like I will work in isolation and that I will succeed. In the same way, a company or an organization is able to succeed only on if it is only on the on if it is in having a good network of partners. For example, raw material is purchased from the right vendor and the goods are sold by the right dealer. So there is a relationship between the guy who is supplying the raw material and the guy who is selling your product. So you can't work in isolation. So that is the meaning of extended organization. For example, this is the manufacturing unit. I can't say that I will stand alone and I will succeed. No, there should be backward linkage as well as forward linkage, and you should have a proper established downstream activities and proper upward activities and linkages also. So remember that the company will not be working in isolation. They have to work in tandem with the different stakeholders. With the different stakeholders, they have to take into account and work hand in hand with them, and they will also prosper, and the company will also prosper. So this is the meaning of the word extended enterprise. Next one is I given a small example of McDonald's. So McDonald's example is there. So there are so many entities which are closely working with them. They are integrated and forming a successful company called as McDonald's. It can't work in isolation. Work not in isolation. They have to work integratedly. So restaurants are there who are connected with this. Services are there. Food suppliers are there. Advertisement companies are there. Food chain distributors and franchises. All there are they are working independently and forming a cohesive coordinating force which makes this company a successful company. And today I have stopped here at this stage. And after 5 minutes, you are going to again join me at 6:15 for inventory management for half an hour. Thank you so much. Just a moment.